looking at all the X-ray information from that image. Very, very quickly. This is very powerful. Okay, but I skipped a little bit. All right, just to let you know. But we're going to go back, but I just skipped. And then, basically, all I wanted to go over realistically was this relationship of beam diameter gives us more X-ray counts per second, 50,000 X-ray events per second, right? The diameter of the beam gives us more counts. If I was to close the beam, and how else can I simulate closing the beam besides changing an aperture, right? I can simulate closing the beam by changing my probe current, right? So I can use probe current from 20, run it down to 5. This is going to get really dark all of a sudden, right? And look what happened to my X-ray counts. 600 counts a second.
The more counts per second, the more accurate the reading?
The more information you will have. I'm not going to say the more accurate, you're getting more information. The accuracy depends on a ratio and a relationship between the X-ray events plus the time constant that you're looking at. Two things. The slower the time constant, the better resolution, and there's going to be an ideal X-ray event count for that time constant. So I'm going to recommend time constant 4 at roughly 4,000, anywhere from 2 to 4,000 counts a second. That's what I'm going to recommend to you guys for normal, everyday use if you're not doing X-ray maps. If we're going to do X-ray maps, then that number is going to change dramatically.
Okay, so hold on. So the settings are for, again,
better resolution if you have when there is a low.
So it's a ratio between this time constant, see this TC? Right? The TC determines resolution, process resolution, right? So the slower the time constant, the better resolution you'll have, right? But if we run a slow time constant at a very big beam diameter, right? At the slow time constant, very big beam diameter, right? 40,000 counts a second. Well, look what's happening to my percentage of dead time. I got 80% dead time, which is not good. That's not a good ratio. So 80% of the X-rays aren't being processed. So that's a horrible ratio. So yes, we're at a best resolution time constant, but because of the ratio beam diameter I have, it's not ideal. It's going to be worse. So there's a lot of principles that are involved here. And so the reason that I'm talking about this is because it is very important. These numbers are very important. I just want to get you guys ingrained in these numbers before I say to you guys, hey, we're just going to leave this at this parameter and it's going to work fine for you for now. But eventually the for now is not going to be okay. You guys are going to want to do some other things that we're going to have to change. Apertures, beam diameter, all sorts of things to accommodate X-ray maps or line scans or what we're working with here. How quickly do you want the X-ray map to develop? If I'm pulling 50,000 counts a second, well, that's going to develop how much faster if I was pulling 1,000 counts a second? 50 times faster, right? So if we're talking about 1 minute compared to 50 minutes, that's a minute X-ray map compared to an hour X-ray map. That becomes a big difference. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right? X-ray events. This is how many X-rays are hitting the detector. Okay? And that gets determined by how big the diameter of your beam is, because what's generating the X-ray counts? What's generating your X-ray counts? Where are they coming from?
Beam.
Ah, okay. So beam is important. The X-ray counts are coming from your, with no beam. We just did that a second ago. When I turned the beam off, did we have any X-ray events? How can we have X-ray events with no beam? There's no beam on, right? There's nothing to generate X-rays. So the beam and the beam diameter and the final aperture assembly determine how much X-ray events we're going to have.
so for X-ray maps, what settings of the
Time constant 1
versus CS would you recommend?
I recommend time constant 1
Time constant 1.
and the maximum counts that you can get. Right now it seems to be around 40,000 counts, which is a lot, by the way. With a liquid nitrogen detector, just to let you know where you guys are at, liquid nitrogen detectors are anywhere from 1,200 to 2,500 counts maximum, no more than that. And the new SDD detectors allow you to pull 50,000 counts a second.